So what actually makes a woman high value? And if marriage is your goal one day, what actually makes a woman marriage material? Because obviously the two very much go hand in hand. And I've seen this term, high value woman, circulated all over the internet, but here are the 10 traits that I think actually make a woman high value. Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Jillz, and I talk about things like feminine energy, self-improvement, and wellness for women. So if that's something you want to learn more about, you should absolutely hit that red subscribe button below, as well as the notifications bell too, so you don't miss when I put out any new videos. Now, if you're a regular around here, if you've seen my videos before, then you probably want to become your best self. But that usually looks different from woman to woman. However, these high value traits will likely be a staple for everyone. So let's get into it. So first and foremost, a high value woman has high standards and doesn't settle for less than what she deserves. And what I mean by this is that she has her needs, she has her boundaries, and she honors those things, and she's clear about them, and she prioritizes these things. She doesn't waste time with people, relationships, certain experiences, even mindsets that drag her down and don't make her feel good and don't support her in the way that she needs. But with that said, she also has high standards for herself, not in an overly perfectionistic kind of way, because that's not healthy, but she believes in herself. She treats herself well because she knows she deserves that. And she doesn't let herself just constantly binge watch Netflix or scroll on TikTok for hours and hours a day, because is that really helping her to reach her fullest potential? Is that really helping her to live her happiest and most fulfilling life? Probably not. And she knows also that to attract a high value man, she needs to be a high value woman herself. She knows that if she sets high standards for others in her life, if she sets high standards for her life or her lifestyle that she wants to live, then she also has to set those same standards for herself. And I guess you could say that she's realistic about that. Remember, we always attract into our life the people, the situations, the experiences that are an energetic match for us. So when we set healthy standards for ourselves, that gets reflected back to us in our external world. So you cannot expect high standards from other people if you first can't set them with yourself. Second trait of a high value woman is that she has warmth. And this is a highly underrated trait. When you have that inherent warmth, it makes other people feel good around you. It makes other people feel comfortable around you and supported by you. And that warmth at the end of the day is really just a genuine kindness and openness that shines through, and people can feel that energy from you. So if you want to be a warmer person, really be interested and listen to what people have to say. Be emotionally attuned to them. Be supportive and loving and kind, and actually care about other people. There's so much energy these days on putting yourself first and being selfish and focusing on yourself. And there's definitely a time for that. I absolutely think so. But there's so much beauty in grace in genuinely caring about other people and being that kind and supportive person, being that person that just radiates warmth. It's such an attractive quality. Okay, so another huge one is self-awareness. A high value woman is self-aware. She understands where her strengths lie, and in that same regard, she understands that there are areas that she may need to work on. And she's also not oblivious to how her past may be influencing her current behavior and actions. A high value woman is able to actually tune into her feelings and her emotions and her actions and reflect on them and see a deeper meaning from them and use them as a way to grow and better herself. And if you don't have this self-awareness, you're much more likely to stay stagnant. You're much more likely to keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again. You're more likely to have consistent trouble with relationships, and also just be much more disconnected from your body and your intuition. The self-awareness is an important part of our growth and evolution, and it's what enables us to become a high value woman in the first place. And I can guarantee you that any woman that is considered high value is not just floating through life. They're in tune with the deeper parts of themselves. Number 4, a high value woman takes care of herself, not just with her own health and wellness, that's obviously incredibly important, but also with her hygiene and beauty as well. This means fueling your body with the right foods, moving in a way that feels good to you, prioritizing restful sleep and not staying out until 2 a.m. partying every night. This means taking care of your mental health too. It's doing whatever it is that you feel like you need to do to feel good in your body and in your mind. But this also means taking pride in your appearance as well and caring about the way you present yourself. A high value woman knows that how you present yourself matters. It affects how you view yourself. It affects how you carry yourself. It affects how confident you feel. And a high value woman knows that the reality is that it affects how other people view you as well. And this is not to say that you need to be covered in makeup and hairspray every day, not at all. Just make sure that you put your best foot forward in a way that aligns with you, that you take care of yourself and present yourself in a way that aligns with you. And for some people, that might be lots of makeup and these really cute fashionista type outfits, because that's what feels right. And for other people, it might be a bit more natural and bohemian. But either way, be well groomed, have good hygiene, and show yourself love by putting in that little bit of extra effort. Now, something that also makes a woman stand out and be considered high value, not just in life, but also in her relationships too, is that she is joyful, she's optimistic, and she's not afraid to be a bit playful. And I'm kind of including all of these adjectives into one trait because I feel like they all kind of fall in the same bucket. A high value woman creates joy in her life and is able to see the bright side of things. And yes, there are times where she needs to be more serious, but she's also not afraid to loosen up a bit and have some fun and just be lighthearted and goofy and laugh. And I think this is a really underrated aspect of a high value woman and an underrated aspect of the feminine and what the feminine brings to a relationship. The masculine brings more of that structure and groundedness and roots you into reality, but the feminine is what brings that life and depth to everything. It adds that something extra to make life so special and so beautiful. Life is meant to be enjoyed, and a woman who is able to see that for themselves and therefore create it in their life and share that joy and fun with other people, that woman is magnetic and who I would consider to be a high value woman. Number 6, a high value woman has honesty and integrity. So this is a woman who does the right thing even when it's not the cool thing. This is a woman who is clear about her values and stands firm in those. This is a woman who is a good friend, who's truthful and owns up to her mistakes. Being an honest and high integrity person is one of the most important qualities of just a good person, but also one of the most important qualities of a high value woman. She doesn't spread lies about other people. She doesn't talk about other people behind their back. That's just not her thing. She treats others the way that she would want to be treated, and that's important to her. And especially when it comes to marriage, if that is your goal, a high value man is looking for someone that he can rely on and trust wholeheartedly. And if you exhibit more of that, snippy, heavy drama, catty, rude behavior, that will likely turn a high value man off. Another more feminine trait of a high value woman is that she is loving and compassionate. She has a big heart and it shows. This is a very big natural strength of the feminine. We're likely to be more nurturing. We're likely to be more loving, more empathetic, more connected to our heart. And unfortunately, a lot of women have disconnected from this side of ourselves, but it's a really beautiful part of us that makes us so special. I think when we think of a high value woman, sometimes we think of, all these crazy big things. She makes a ton of money. She's got a drop-dead gorgeous body. She's a fashion model. She knows 5 languages. And all that is cool, but it oftentimes goes back to the simple things that are the most important and the things that we can often forget. You can do all the things, but if you're not genuinely a good person, if you're not a good friend, if you don't actually care about the people in your life, if you don't have love in your heart, then everything else doesn't really matter that much. Don't forget about your amazing capacity to love. It's your strength. Another important trait is that she has high self-esteem. She is confident in herself and she doesn't need other people to validate her existence or her beauty or her achievements or whatever it is. Her worthiness and her sense of self comes from within. It's not dictated by other people or other things. And this is so important because a woman with high self-esteem is a woman who gets what she wants and forms the right relationships and creates the life she wants, not because she's super extra special or lucky, but because she believes in herself and she sees herself in high regard. And instead of her inner voice constantly criticizing her and making her life harder, she's hyping herself up. She trusts in herself and her abilities, and she feels worthy of her desires. It doesn't mean she doesn't have any insecurities or any flaws or struggles. We all have stuff like that. But her strong confidence and belief in herself makes it so she doesn't get dragged down by them. That's the difference. Okay, another huge one. To be a high value woman, you have to have maturity. There are so many grown women these days that just don't have this. A woman who's mature is responsible, doesn't play games, doesn't try to manipulate other people. She's not throwing tantrums if she doesn't get her way. And she has the maturity and grace to be the bigger person in tough situations. Think about when you're in an argument or a disagreement with someone, because those happen sometimes, whether it's with a partner or a friend or a family member. Those who are mature stay focused on the topic. They try to understand what the other person is saying. They try to understand their feelings and validate their feelings while still getting their point across. They're not trying to insult them or throw jabs at them. They're not trying to win the argument. They're not giving them the cold shoulder because they disagree. And they're not afraid to apologize when they did something wrong. I think the way we argue or fight is one of the main ways our maturity or our immaturity comes out. And so it's one way that we can look at ourselves and see if we feel like we need some work in this area. Another example, if you're seeing someone but they're kind of flaky, they're not really committing to you, a mature woman will not force it to happen. She knows that she can't get him to change and that he's already expressed how he feels through his lazy actions. And so she will gracefully walk away instead of demanding or forcing it to happen. This maturity is so important. And number 10, self-respect. You of course have to have self-respect. This means respecting your body, your needs, your time, etc. If you can't respect yourself, how can you expect other people to respect you as well? A high-value woman does not do things that she doesn't want to do or do things that she's not comfortable with. She decides what's right for her and she holds true to that even if she faces pressure. She also doesn't allow her needs, her goals, and what's important to her to just get swept away in people-pleasing behavior or by being a doormat. She doesn't get walked all over because she doesn't allow it. And I mean, this can even be as simple as keeping her home tidy because she respects herself enough to live in a healthy, clean environment. So what's important to you? What do you need? And are you honoring that and respecting that? I hope you got value out of this video, but also if you haven't seen this video is He Marriage Material, 10 Traits of a High Value Man. I highly recommend you go check it out because who you choose to marry is one of the most important and biggest decisions that you will make. And it's important to know how to identify a high value man. So I will see you over there. Thanks for watching. Bye.